Okay, Mike with Fab'n again, and today we're going to actually show you putting on the Kia hub to the Mazda truck. So first, take off the wheel. I've got it jacked up, and then no Gorilla locks as lug nuts. Take the wheel off. Pop the center cap off because we're not going to need that anymore after we get the hub in there. Okay. And then this is the actual manual hub, full-time hub, and we're going to take it off. These 6 bolts. In future videos, we'll be doing brake rotors, brake calipers, tie rods, ball joints, and everything to this truck. CV axles, a clutch, front and rear shocks, because we're going to go through and service everything before we start doing the mile per gallon challenge on this truck. I want everything to be in good tip-top order. Anyway, this is the original manual hub that's full-time four-wheel drive, and what it does is it locks the inner splined axle of the CV to the hub so that this outer hub is always engaged. Okay, so this is a full-time hub. On this, what it does is this is the stub axle, the CV axle coming through and sticking out, and it turns independently of this outer hub, the outer wheel hub. Okay, so by having this as a solid piece, and it splines onto the actual CV axle, and then it would bolt up. You line the bolt holes up and it would bolt up. Then it would be a full-time hub at that point. Okay, because if the CV axle is turning, then this hub is turning. Okay, so if this hub is turning, the CV axle is turning. So you're moving all of those parts, and it's causing drag, and it will use more fuel to turn that many more parts. Whereas if you can take this off, this solid piece, and put on a selectable hub that will allow you to go between 4x2 wheel drive or 4x4 wheel drive, so that this can turn independently of the stub shaft at all times, then you'll use less fuel because there's less drag. Okay, now it's not going to give you a bunch of mileage, maybe like 0.5 miles per gallon or maybe 1 mile per gallon, but it's some. And when the ultimate thing that we're going to do with this truck is make a mile per gallon comparison truck out of it, so everything we can do makes it better. So that's where we're at. I've taken the hub, the new hub, apart because I have to have access to the bolt holes, and I'm going to line this up. And then I have taken the original washers and put on the new stainless steel Allen headed bolts. These are 8mm by 1.25 pitch thread by 35mm long. They're the same length as the factory bolts that came out of it. Okay, and then I'm going to take blue Loctite, and I'm not going to use a bunch. I'm just going to put a dab on each one of them. And then line up the holes. These don't have to be stupid tight. I think the torque spec on them is like 18 foot-pounds, which you can do by hand if you've done enough of them, or you can get a torque wrench out. Okay, and the next one. Actually, we're going to leave them all loose while we start them, and then we'll snug them up when we're done. And again, I'm not expecting to get a bunch of mile per gallon out of this upgrade, but it's some, and every little bit counts when you're doing a mile per gallon comparison test. And like I said in another video, we are going to convert this truck, listen to it, to carburation. It's factory fuel injection, and it's had problems with the injection, the fuel lines, the tank, since the day I bought it. So I'm not actually hurting anything. And then besides that, it only got like 22 or 23 miles per gallon on the highway. It didn't get huge amounts of fuel mile per gallon. And with a carburetor, I'm going to use a lawnmower carburetor, a very small carburetor, and we're going to put a O2 sensor in, and we're going to use an AFR meter, and we're going to measure the vacuum with a vacuum gauge, and we're going to tune the carburetor with vacuum and the O2, the FR, and at that point we're going to tune it to 14.5 to 1, 13.5 to 1, in that ballpark, so that we can actually drive it down the road. And my goal is to be, now it's not going to be real powerful, okay, I'm not doing that by any means, but it'll be able to do 65, 70 miles an hour, and my goal is to get 60 miles per gallon or better. So that's the goal with the truck eventually. First, we've got to do all the maintenance items on it. Again, just snugging these up, and then I'll tighten them down. It's not a big job, but it's hot here in Oklahoma right now. 100 and something degrees out today. So we're going to do this and go in and cool off, and then we'll come back out and do another video on the Baja or in the shop or something like that. We don't know yet. Try to do 2 to 4 videos a week right now. Keep everybody up to date on the projects. Okay. Now, the actual selectable part of the hub. This is the part that turns it from 2-wheel to 4-wheel. And again, blue Loctite. Just a dab will do you. You don't want a bunch on it because these are a service item. You'll have to take them off at some point. I'm even going to share with this one. Already pre-greased these. and put ample amount of grease inside the hub. For the selectable gear. Again, I don't want to tighten these all the way up. I just want to start them. Get all of the 6 small Allen bolts started. Blue Loctite. Again, just a small dab. Enough that I can share between the two of them. Again, I just want to start them and then snug them up and then tighten them up. But first I want to get them all 6 started. That one's not wanting to start. Go on to the other 2. That one we'll have to come back to. That one started. Pull this one loose. It's not tight, but we're going to pull it loose just to let her move around a little bit. Yeah, it started. Let's see if this one will start now. Snugging them up. And this one popped out. Okay, putting the wheel back on it. Starting the lug nuts by, always start your lug nuts by hand. This is a non-concentric wheel, so the lug nuts are what line it up, so we'll snug them up first, and then we'll, after it lines it back up, then we'll actually put them in hard set with the gun. These being 10 millimeters instead of 12s or 14s, you only do 70 foot-pounds on them. And that's that. Hey, appreciate it. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thanks, guys.